Why does it feel like nothing is happening for so long? Why does it feel like I'm working so hard, but I'm getting absolutely nowhere? Well, in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to help you see that you're winning, even when you feel like you're losing. Because sometimes God will put us through something long enough so that way when we come out, we're strong enough. This is the Perspective Pause weekly live stream. Man, I'm just so excited that you're here. We had a couple of technical difficulties when we first started, but hopefully you guys are here with me now. And if you're watching this on the replay, this is a live stream that we do every single Wednesday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern time, to help people see that they don't need a new life. They just need a new lens, because whatever it is that you're doing right now, it's probably working. You just aren't looking through the right lens to see that it is working. Because see, there's two different types of things, right? It's either that the work is working on us or the work is working for us. And sometimes we can't see that the work is working for us until we allow it to work on us long enough. So hopefully in this video, I can help you see that the work is working, even though you can't see it, even though you feel like you're hidden, even though you feel like you're just working so hard and maybe getting absolutely nowhere, but you are. Because it's not about where you're going. It's about who you're becoming in the process. You know, before we get started, I'd like to say that I was having a conversation with a friend of mine last night, and he was saying how, man, if I were to actually go through this challenge in life and I were to make this major shift in my life, then I was going to have to start over and start from scratch. And I was talking to him and I was like, how does that feel? How does that make you feel that you're having to start from scratch? And he's like, not good at all. And I said, well, is it the truth? And he's like, what do you mean, is it the truth? I said, is it the truth? And he said, well, what do you mean? I said, well, basically, if you're saying you have to start from scratch, that can't be true, because you're not starting from the beginning with anything that you're doing. Anything that we do in life, that we decide to make a change, we make a pivot, we do something different than we've never done before, we're never going to lose who we've become in the process. So I want to say before I get into this video, no matter what it is that you're going through, no matter it is where you may be going to, who you are is not where you are, but most importantly, it's all about who you're becoming, because nobody could take that from you. What you've learned, nobody can take that from you. What you've earned, maybe not tangibly, but intangibly, because whatever you've created once, you can go ahead and create again. Anyway, I just wanted to share that because I think a lot of us, struggle with either doing something new or not even doing something new. It's looking at something differently, right? Because I like to say that it's not what we don't know that holds us back. It's what we do know that we hold on to that's not a fact. And sometimes we have to unlearn or uninstall things that we've been taught for so long before we even have the room to take on some new information or to take on something that's new in our life, right? We want something and we have this need for something to grow. But I truly believe that sometimes the thing that's going to allow us to grow is not what we need, it's what we need to let go. All right, cool. So the first thing I want to talk about with you guys is I want to ask you a question. I want to ask you a crazy question, right? Never heard anybody ask this question before, but on this channel, we're going to do things that people don't normally do. And so I want to ask you a question. What if a tree could talk? What if a tree could talk? Now, in this video, we're talking about the growth that nobody sees, the becoming moments. Not sometimes feeling like we're winning, but more or less asking ourselves, why do we feel like we're losing, right? And we're not, we're becoming, right? So what I want to ask you is, what do you think a tree would say while it was growing? Think about that, right? Think about that. I think it's interesting to me, right? Because if a tree could talk, what would it say? What would it truly say? And I think too many of us, we tend to feel like something is not working because we're not seeing what we expected to see during the time in which we expected to see it in. I probably can't say that again, but I'll try. Sometimes we feel extremely frustrated or agitated because we don't see what we expected to see during the time frame on when we expected to see it in was happening, right? So what's wild is that sometimes we may not want to receive what we want in the time frame of when we wanted to receive it. I don't know if you guys can relate, but there was a time in my life where it was 2019. I had just came out of the lowest point of my life. I attempted to commit suicide. I became a single father. I went through divorce. I hit multiple rock bottoms. You know, when people talk about hitting rock bottom, I feel like I ended up buying a property there and actually lived there for quite some time. And what's interesting is that through that process, I realized that I was constantly doing everything I could to find a way to get out of the pain as fast as possible. I was doing everything that I could to try to find a way to get out of the pain as fast as possible. Right. I was looking for the quick fix. I was looking for the quick hack. I was looking for whatever it was that I can find that said, hey, how do I start making money immediately? How do I get out of my situation immediately? And what I started to learn is that, yeah, there were some things that I could have done, but I actually hadn't become the person that was willing to do those types of things. And so I looked at everybody else and what they were accomplishing. And I said, you know what? I want that too. So when I said I wanted that too, what did I do? I was in the gym because a lot of people told me that my mind wasn't right. I needed to go in the gym and start working out. So I started working out, right? And when I started working out, I started looking at everybody that was in the gym. And when I saw everybody else that was in the gym, I noticed that they were lifting weights that I could not lift yet. And they were stronger than I was. And their physique looked way better than mine did. And so all I thought was, I see what they're doing right now. They're lifting these heavy weights and they look great. So that must be what I need to do, is lift heavier weights in order for me to look great. Well, here's what happened. I ended up carrying things that I shouldn't have carried too early, which caused me to then get a double hernia in my, it's called an inguinal hernia. It's below my stomach lining. And I hurt myself to the point where I was focused on what people had in that moment, what they were doing to have what they had in that moment, instead of taking a look at what they have done to get there. So I tried to fast track myself to say, you know what? I want what they have. So I'm going to do immediately what they have right now. What happened? I ended up in the hospital because I was lifting weights that were just too heavy for me at that time. I was doing things that I wasn't ready to do at that time, but I wanted the weights. I wanted to look good. I wanted to be like everybody else around me. So I constantly would do exactly what they were doing in that time. Not to even understand in that moment that it wasn't about what people were doing. It was about what they did. And I think a lot of us sometimes we get really confused with seeing what somebody else is doing, but they never saw what they did. We never saw what they did. Why is that? Because there's an invisible period of life. There's a season that everybody goes through that nobody saw. There's this time frame that every single person has gone through to become successful that nobody saw what they did. But today I'm going to share exactly what it takes to see what somebody had to go through to get to the place that you see where they are. And too many people don't talk about it because they want to show you where they are, because that's the dream outcome that people will tell you that you want to receive, right? So as I sit here and think about having this conversation with my daughters, with entrepreneurs that are feeling, like they may be stuck in a season of grinding and hustling and working so hard that they don't see the results yet, I want to let you know that when you see somebody that's successful, do not look at what they are doing in this season. Look at what they did to get to it. Look at what they had to go through to get to this. And the thing is that a lot of the time you won't see that because people don't like to share that process because sometimes they don't feel like they're ever going to come out of it. A lot of us as entrepreneurs, we don't want to share the lowest points of our lives because sometimes we feel like, man, maybe people will judge us because we're not doing as well as maybe we want to show people that we're doing. There's a book called Profit First. And in the first chapter, they talk about how people don't want to say that they're going through a tough time. And that's one of the biggest reasons why entrepreneurs fail is because of the fact that they want to show as if they're doing much better than they are doing, which then is causing them to fail. And the people that are watching them are getting misled. So if you're in a season right now where you feel like, man, this is just really difficult and my life doesn't look like the life of the people that I look up to's life yet. Well, just know that about 80 to 90% of the people's lives that you're looking up to is actually fake. So do not compare your behind the scenes real life to somebody else's performance. I want to let you know that first, right? Do not compare your behind the scenes daily hustle, trusting the process, having faith in God, walking by faith, not by sight, to compare that to somebody else's performance. Because with AI right now, I mean, and anybody could tell a great story and make something look so much better than it is. But that is the number one reason why entrepreneurs fail, is because they want people to think that you're actually doing better. They're doing better than they actually are. And so in this video, I want to talk about the pain. I want to talk about the invisible time. I want to talk about the moments in life that when we're going through something, we feel like we're not going anywhere. We feel like we're actually just stuck in the rut because we're looking at somebody else and seeing what they've achieved and they've accomplished, but we haven't gotten where we want to be yet. Well, I just want to let you know that sometimes you have to be planted long enough so when you come out, you will be strong enough. Because it's not about what you achieve, y'all. It's not about what you obtain, y'all. It's about what you're able to sustain. So, anyway, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this message today. I noticed that 70% of the people that are watching these videos, that comment on these videos, that like these videos, they have not subscribed to these videos yet. So please make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I drop a short a day right now, and every week we go live every Wednesday morning to help people see that they don't need a new life. They just need a new lens, and to adjust your focus and have this perspective pause. Because here's the thing, right? In personal development, I don't know how many of you guys are really heavy into personal development, business development, reading a lot of books, getting a lot of mentors. But I want to tell you something. When you realize that there's so much work to be done on yourself to improve, there's a large season that you go through where all you do is focus on the flaws. All you do is focus on what's not good, your weaknesses, right? And I believe it's so important that instead of constantly looking at our flaws, we need to see how far we've come and take a perspective pause. So that's what this channel is all about. It's helping you slow down so you can speed up, helping you see how far you've already come, helping you see the amazing things that are in your life right now that are not going to not be there because you choose not to look at them. And I just pray to God that this video will help you see those things while they're still there. So let's get it. Let's go ahead and share this iPad and get into it, y'all. It's going to be a great message. If you guys are watching live right now, write down where you're tuning in from. And if you're getting any value from this so far, put some rockets in the chat. All right. So the first thing I want to talk about is, let's go ahead and let's go ahead and draw this here. Right. And let's see. So this is the ground. This is the soil. Right. And some of you guys may have seen this analogy. Some of you may have not, but I'm going to talk about it in a way that you've probably never heard it before. So whenever we get into business development, personal development, whenever we start working towards a goal in life or the vision that we have for ourselves in life, we start working, right? We start working, right? And all work works. I see y'all in the chat. Good morning, y'all. All work works. But here's the thing, right? I'm gonna go ahead and put this little sprout here, right? And if you could see this little sprout, right? I want you to see this, right? This is something that we all want. We all want the growth, right? We all want growth, right? Man, that's probably way too small. I was looking back at something here. Let's see here. Let's open this up a little bit here. Make it a little bit bigger, right? So we all want the growth, right? But we tend to not understand that in order for this to happen, some other things have to happen first, right? And I want to talk to you guys today about that's not going to work. I want to talk to you guys today about gravitropic and phototropic. Okay. Now, gravitropic and phototropic are the complete opposites. And what they are basically how something grows in the direction of gravity, right? So, a lot of us, when we first started anything, we start off gravitropic. And what does that mean? It means towards gravity. Okay? So that's when you're going to see us growing in the ground, right? Anything that we do, it feels like we're going through a process to where basically we're going away from light. It's very dark. You know what this makes me think of is like all the times that I've stood in front of my mirror in my living room and actually practiced speaking to people as if they were actually there. Nobody was there. Nobody was there. And some of those moments felt very dark. Some of those moments would be very depressing at times because I felt like I was doing something that nobody saw for a long period of time. And I don't know if you, as an entrepreneur, sometimes you may feel like this, but you feel like you're just doing the work, right? And it just doesn't seem like anything's happening. And the reason why it feels like nothing is happening because you don't see anything happening. You don't see anything happening at all. And it's like my daughters. They're, two of them are 16, about to be 17 and 18 years old. And I was just looking at some old pictures of them when they were younger. I don't know how many parents I have watching this. But it's like you don't see the growth in your children sometimes because you're too close to it. You're too close to them, right? And you can't really see what's actually going on. But you do know that it feels like raising children when they're younger is a long process. And then as they become teenagers and get older, and now I'm going through this wild stage where I feel like it's something called the empty nest syndrome. But I'm starting to realize that as a dad, things have changed dramatically in how fast time has actually gone. But while I was raising them, it did not feel like they were growing that fast. And now I look and think to myself as an entrepreneur, as I'm building a business, as I'm building relationships, as I'm working on myself, I sometimes feel like I haven't made any progress. Although there is a lot of progress, I haven't made any progress. And I think this is the point in when we're developing ourselves and becoming the person, we have to slow down for a moment. We have to pause. We have to pause and we have to zoom out. I have something called the focus framework. It's called finding optimism and clarity using small steps. And the C in focus stands for clarity. And I think sometimes we don't have enough clarity in where we are right now that we think that we're somewhere else. But the problem is that we don't zoom out. We don't step away from the trees so we could see the forest. And think about your life right now as I talk about this, right? And think about how far that you've come, maybe over the last year, the last couple of years, in an area that you've grown. See, we can all take a look and say, you know what? There's so many things that I was doing better before than what I'm doing now, right? And what's interesting is you may have been doing well at the last level, but once you come to this new level, there's going to be some new challenges, right? And some new growth and some new just sowing, right? And so when we think about like the laws and the principles of reaping and sowing, right? You must put in the work first. So what's interesting is that our lives, based on where we are and where we want to go, have to go through the gravitropic phase before we go through the phototropic phase. So the gravitropic phase is going to say you have to go towards gravity. You have to go down. Everything goes down before it goes up. Even if you jump, right? Even if you jump, you have to crouch down to jump up. Everything goes down before it goes up. It's like when you build a home. Before you even set a solid foundation, You must dig in the ground, make sure there's no roots in there. You must do everything you can to eliminate any type of obstacles that will come up in the future from when you lay the foundation. So what's interesting is a lot of us want to lay the foundation first. A lot of us want to go ahead and be seen before it's time. A lot of us want to go ahead and see the growth in our lives before we are supposed to. And so when you think about everything must go down before it goes up, you have to understand something. Would you want to build a home on a root? Right? You wouldn't want to build a home on a root. You wouldn't want to build a home on something that's going to later on 3, 4, 5, 6 floors up, end up being in a situation where you have to tear it all down. And I've seen that happen. And this may be a reason why maybe you may feel like everything that you do comes to a point where it doesn't work. Now, all work works because you're becoming the person that's realizing things that won't work in the future. But gravitropic and phototropic. Phototropic is really pretty much going to be a reflection of all of the work that's happened underground when nobody was watching. There's a quote that I love. It's by Damian Lillard, right? This quote that I love. Damian Lillard said, "If you want to look good in front of millions, you must outwork millions in front of no one." If you want to look good in front of millions, you must outwork millions in front of no one. And I feel like that's what I'm even doing on this YouTube channel. I feel like I'm practicing in public, to be honest with you. I feel like so many people will make YouTube content and unlist their videos because they don't want people to see things until they're good enough. A lot of people will go ahead and say, I'm going to go ahead and practice my presentation before I go do it in front of people because I want to make sure that I'm good enough. But see, you don't actually grow by doing things alone. You grow by doing them in front of other people, getting feedback from other people. The majority of the content or the majority of the feedback in the comments that I've been getting on my shorts lately are all negative. Who would have thought, right? Who would have thought that people are saying, "Oh, that's a stupid thing to say," right? Who would have thought that I'd have comments on my shorts saying that, that's about one of the dumbest things I've ever heard? And, it pretty much validates the whole concept of what I'm talking about, is that you could look at something and think that it's stupid and somebody else may think it's remarkable. I mean, I'll tell you right now, I have people that I still know in my life that think I'm stupid because I don't go to the bar with them on the weekend. But I may think they're stupid because they're drunk every day. So I'm just saying we may have a different definition for the word stupid. So I'm not calling anybody stupid. I apologize. But I'm just saying that I have more negative comments on my shorts than positive ones. I have 92 subscribers right now. Hopefully there's 7 people watching. I can see this right now on my eCam. And please subscribe to the channel. That's all I'm going to ask you. Please subscribe to the channel, because if you're getting any value from it, that's the thing too. I don't want you to subscribe to it and then the algorithm shows off. I'd rather wait for the people that truly get value. So if you're getting value, I appreciate that. But what's interesting is that the majority of the comments that I have on my YouTube shorts thus far are all negative. So what's that going to do? That's going to allow me to get some feedback. I'm starting to see that, my stuff is actually being put out in front of people that I don't know. So what a blessing. Because if I go to Instagram and I post something, it seems like the same people that have always saw everything that I've ever done are consistently seeing what I've ever done. So it's the same thing, the same people saying, "Great job, awesome, bars, this is dope. Man, I needed to hear that. This is great." But I want to get in front of new people, because the only way that you actually do new things is to get new feedback from new people. And the way that you've been doing things alone in front of the mirror is great. Because again, like Damian Lillard said, in order to look good in front of millions, you got to outwork millions in front of nobody. Drop some rockets in the chat if that quote really, really hits home. Because I know that even speaking, doing public speaking right now, being live on YouTube, this is not like comfortable. Like, it's never comfortable actually putting yourself out there and knowing that this isn't going to be an edited video later. This will be here forever. My goal of this channel is to make sure that I got enough content on here so when I pass away, my great grandkids can be like, "Man, my great grandpa had a cool mindset." And I could actually go ahead and have content for them to actually be able to be helped. But in the process, I'm attracting a lot of entrepreneurs that want to keep going, that want to be more successful. So I want to talk about the stuff that most people don't talk about, because most people are talking about where they are right now. They're not talking about what they had to do to get there. They're not talking about the painful season, because during the painful season, nobody wants to see them through a painful season. Nobody would want to see me talking about when I was attempting suicide. Nobody would want to see that in my mind. But in all reality, it's like, wow, if I would have been more open about that, I would have related with more people, right? I would have been able to relate with more people. I would have been able to be around, listen, just keep it real. Because here's the thing too, a lot of people are not able to get help if you act like you're doing better than you are. Oh, I'm just saying, just keep it real. Gravitropic. Everything is going to work away from sunlight and towards gravity to become what it needs to become before it's seen. So you as a person right now, whatever it is that you're working on right now, if you don't think that you're being seen, if you don't think that you're in a place where, things are actually working in a way that you felt they were going to work, well, you're still becoming the person. And what a blessing. Because I don't know about you guys, but I've noticed, I used to be in the music industry many years ago, made the Tampa Bay Rays official rap theme song back in 2008. Always liked to kid around. I got into real estate. I say in 2008, I got into real estate. It wasn't really great. Matter of fact, I was a little late. But what was great about that year is I made that theme song that they played at all of the Tampa Bay Rays games for 2 years. And one of the things that I thought was neat was that they changed the name from the Devil Rays to the Rays. So I always like to kid around and say they took out the devil and they brought me in. And that was the year that they went to the World Series. But that's another conversation for another time. But what I'm saying is that when you think about the music industry, right? Think about people that have one-hit wonders, right? You hear them say, you've probably said that somebody was a one-hit wonder. It wasn't that they weren't talented. I want you to think about this, right? Because this may be for somebody that's in entrepreneurship right now that needs to understand that they're becoming the person right now, right? And what's really interesting is that when we take a look at one-hit wonders, we think that they didn't have any talent. Well, they must have had some talent to create something, right? Number one. But number two, the reason why you don't see them come out with another hit or sustain success is because mentally they weren't prepared for it. They weren't prepared to be able to just say, I'm going to trust the process and do things because I know this is the right way to do things. They were looking for that home run again. And so they were doing things differently than when they did when they first showed up. And I believe that the worst thing that could ever happen to you is that you are seen in the place that you wanted to be seen at before you should have. Before you should have. If you pray to God and say, God, I want this. The biggest blessing that you could ever receive is to trust the process that God is going to put you through to actually sustain what it is that you're praying to receive. Because there's a lot of people in this world that'll show you a shortcut that'll lead you somewhere that may seem like it's a faster way to get somewhere. And in some instances, it may feel like you're getting there faster because you're getting some of the things that you wanted. Whether it will be more attention, whether it's validation, whether it's making more money, whether it's seeing more success. But the things that happen to you don't mean that they're going to stick around until you become the person that can actually manage the success that you just achieved. Jim Rome said it. Jim Rome said it. It just came to me. He said, if you ever get the blessing to have $1 million, best become you. What did he say? If you ever, what did Jim Rome say? He said, if you ever get the chance to have $1 million, best you become a millionaire fast. Well, he said, fast. Best you become a millionaire fast. Why is that? Because it's not about what you get. It's about who you become. A lot of people say they want to become a millionaire because they think that a millionaire is somebody that's able to spend $1 million. A millionaire is somebody that has the emotional intelligence and discipline to have $1 million and not spend it because they want security and freedom in their life. There's a difference between rich and wealthy. Read The Psychology of Money. It's a good book. A friend of mine put me on that. So let's go back to this, right? So hopefully the biggest blessing that you could ever get is to not be seen until it's time. Until it's time. Just like the story I was telling you earlier, right? So phototropic. Phototropic means that things move towards sunlight. So now, as you can see, after you become the person that's done all the work. Now you could actually become what you wanted to become. But here's the thing. This is where we quit. Why is that where we quit? Why is that where we quit? Because it's dark, it's uncomfortable, it's damp, it's uncertainty. We stop trusting God because we don't see what it is that we wanted. We don't even get a breadcrumb. We don't even get to see exactly, maybe even just a sample of what it is that we wanted. But oh man, let me tell you something. Stay here. Check this out. Let me come over here real quick. I won't even draw this because I don't want it to leave my mind. Listen, check this out, right? Some of y'all might like Christopher Columbus. Some of y'all might not. But after I tell you this, you'll understand that this man had some faith, right? I'm not going to validate exactly what he did when he came here or what he didn't do. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm just going to talk about the journey. Let me talk about Christopher Columbus in the gravitropic stage, not the phototropic stage, right? Let me talk about him in this stage right here, right? Not in this stage right here. I want to talk about Christopher Columbus in the gravitropic stage, not the phototropic stage, not where everybody saw him, right? So we're not going to do that. I want to talk about what it took for him to get where he was going. And there's a book that I read recently that kind of it kind of talked about this, but what was really cool is that, check this out. A lot of us, we get mistaken when God gives us a small taste of what's to come. We get confused and think that that's actually what is to come. What are you talking about, Chesko? What do you mean? Drop some rockets in the chat if you guys are following me, if you guys are tracking. What I got to say is this. Christopher Columbus walked by faith, not by sight. He said, I'm going to go somewhere, and when I get there, it's going to be incredible. And everybody thought he was crazy, right? Everybody thought he was crazy. Now, granted, I'm not going to talk about what he did when he got there. I'm just going to talk about the process. We're not talking about what you receive. We're talking about trusting the process through the parts that are dark and uncertain. And just we're constantly questioning ourselves. So after a long period of time while he was on this boat, there was something that he saw. There was something that he saw that was so incredible. I mean, I don't know how long it took for him to finally see something, but he finally saw some evidence of faith. He saw small little sticks and he saw some birds. No land, but he saw some small little sticks and he saw some birds. And everybody on the boat said, oh man, this is what you envisioned? This is what you brought us to see? Some sticks and some birds? And he's like, no, this is evidence that it's coming. This is evidence that it's actually happening. And they were like, yeah, right. You said it was going to be this land. You said there was going to be so many incredible things when we got there. And now all we see is some sticks and some birds. And he was like, please trust the process. Have faith. God gave me a vision. And what I always like to say is that don't let the vision that God provides get destroyed when you open your eyes. Because see, the vision is not what you see, it's what's in here. God speaks to you through your ears, through your mind. You connect with the Holy Spirit through your mind, not with your eyes. That's why it says we must walk by faith, not by sight. Because sometimes we open our eyes and we destroy the vision that God provides. And so when he saw the sticks and the birds, everybody on the boat was like, listen, man, you took us all this way, and all we're going to see is some little logs and some sticks and a couple of birds. And he's like, no, this is evidence. God is saying it's on the way. Keep going. And I don't know if anybody can feel this right now, but they're feeling a little bit of progress. But they're asking themselves, is this it? Is this what I worked so hard for to get here? No. This is God showing you that you're on the right path. So don't get mistaken by these small wins, y'all. And it's like you may be building your business, but you may not be as busy as you want to be. But thank God you're busy at all. And let's not use the word busy. I like to say I'm busy and blessed. When people ask me how I'm doing, then they check me and they say you should be productive and not busy. I get it. That's cool. So let's just say productive. You're not as productive as you want to be, but you're productive enough to have a client. You're productive enough to go ahead and have a couple of sales. And in the Bible, it does say the man that's faithful with little will be faithful with much. Rockets in the chat if y'all are feeling me. Rockets in the chat, y'all, because here's the thing. When we get to a place in life where we don't get what we wanted during the time in which we wanted to see it, we didn't get to see this yet. We didn't get to see the plant yet. We didn't get to see the growth yet. We didn't get to see the phototropic side yet. We start saying, man, it's not coming. This is all I'm getting. I'm only getting this one client. I'm only getting this one sale. I'm only getting this one transaction. This is all I'm going to get. No. God's testing you to see how much you appreciate the one he gave you. God is testing you to see how much you appreciate the one he gave you as a preview to see if he should send you any more. Man, come on, y'all. I don't know if somebody hears me this morning. If God is giving you one customer, if God is giving you one client, if God is giving you one opportunity, why are you disrespecting that to try to look at what's next or what's down the road? Look at what's now. Respect what you see. Treat what you see with the utmost respect that God gave you something. He gave you anything. You know, there's so many different analogies and metaphors that are running through my mind right now. But I'll just talk to the entrepreneur that I've been talking to for the last couple of months, or maybe some of the clients that I've had over the 2025, that they kept thinking that more money was going to solve their money problems. When I got 100 more clients, I'm going to be good. When I get 1,000 clients, I'm going to be good. What can I do to get more leads? What can I do to get more sales? What can I do to get more customers? You know what's crazy? Is you've already had some. What have you done to show them that they matter, that you're willing to continuously work with them? What are you doing to appreciate what God already gave you? If God gave you 5 clients last year, but you're focused on getting 100 more this year, did you know that you're probably going to get more clients if you nurtured the 5 that you got last year? If you tell God, thank you for the 5 that you already gave me, and then nurture those relationships and ask those people how you consistently can help them some more. Because if somebody already said yes to you, why are you, it's like this. It's like this crazy analogy that came to me the other day. It's like you've already engaged with certain people. Why are you wanting to go on some new dates with new people you've never met before and spending all of this money to find new people that you've never met, to not even know exactly who they are, what they got going on, but you have people in your life right now that already trusted you with what you've already given them and are willing to work with you more. But you're so transactional that all you can think about is more people means more money. Come on, man. I know I'm talking to somebody. Stop focusing on more and focus on what's in front of you. Focus on the sticks and the birds. Focus on being grateful for what's in front of you right now, because the only way that you're going to get to the place where God's going to trust you with more, and then you're going to be able to keep what you get, is to be able to nurture what you have and build a system around, servicing one person. When you build your system around servicing one person, when you build your system about trusting the process when nobody can see you, when you fall in love with just serving others, then God's going to trust you enough to give you some more. But why would he trust you if you're just looking for somebody else because you want to make more money for yourself? You know, I know a lot of people that teach the Bible. I know a lot of people that teach biblical principles, but then they go ahead and they say it's all about serving others, but they'll do anything they possibly humanly can to make sure that they're serving themselves at the utmost ability before they even think about serving others. They will think about how much money they're going to charge somebody before they even think about the service that they're going to provide to somebody. They will think about the lifestyle that they want and how much it's going to be for their lifestyle that they want, that they feel like they should get, and then make sure that they charge somebody exactly what that costs to service their lifestyle instead of actually making sure that they're providing a transformation for somebody else's lifestyle. Let me see the chat. The chat said, that's powerful. Sometimes the small signs are the biggest proof that we're on the right path. That's exactly what I was talking about. That's exactly what Christopher Columbus did. He said, you know what? We're on the right path. Everybody else said, man, is this what it is? But he said, no, we're on the right path. Trust the process. Let's keep going. A man who cannot find peace with little will never find peace with much. Wealth isn't in what you gain, but in how little you need to feel whole. Man, how will you ever be happy with anything if you're not happy already? Right? Like think about that. There's things that, man, all right, that's crazy. But let's keep going. Rockets in the chat if y'all are understanding what I'm saying. So as you think about being more phototropic, like being seen, think about, have you done the work gravitropically yet? So when you are seen, it's going to be a beautiful thing. Prepare the runway for takeoff. The volcano is not going to erupt until it's time. The diamond is not going to be a diamond until it's cut enough. You know, I remember Eric Thomas. I remember back in 2013 listening to this audio, the mixtape. It was called the Heart of Detroit mixtape by Eric Thomas. And one of the tracks on there would constantly talk about everybody wants to be a diamond until it's time to get cut. And everybody focuses on becoming the diamond, but nobody actually focuses on being cut. And it's like people don't want to be coachable. They don't want to be corrected. They don't want to be told that they're wrong. They don't want to be, you know, just. It's like we just want to go ahead and be phototropic before we've been gravitropic. But good luck with that. Because just like I said earlier, in order to look good in front of millions, you got to outwork millions in front of nobody. But then when you become gravitropic, there's something that happens. There's something that happens, y'all. We're just going to make this little branch, and we go have all right, so we got, I don't know if you guys can see this, but this is probably going to be the most valuable lesson of the day. So I wouldn't go anywhere if I were you. And here's the thing. Once we are finally coming out of the ground, we're starting to see some progress. We start to see the twigs and the birds like Christopher Columbus had, right? Then it's time to act. It's time to act. Once you become the person, then you're actually ready to act. That does not mean that it's easy. It does not mean that it's easy. And one thing that I always like to talk about is my ABCs. I don't know if anybody's heard my ABCs before. Anybody heard my ABCs? Put it in the chat. But the ABCs to success are the opposite of what people think. So there's two things here, right? This will probably be the most important lesson that you're probably going to learn all month. So if you're here, I would not leave. Give me 5 minutes. Subscribe to the channel if you're getting any value from this video today. Man, I would love to hear some feedback as well. As like I told you earlier, it seems like I'm getting more negative feedback than positive feedback. But I'm going to keep going because it's about trust in the process. We're going to be gravitropic, not phototropic. We keep going. So ABCs of success. Action brings clarity. This is something that I created based on my own life because I realized that most of us focus on clarity before action. We want things to be clear before we actually go do something. And the more that we do that, the more that we're trying to figure out things. And I heard Tony Robbins say last night on the new YouTube video with Alex Hormozy, he said that if you're in your head, you're dead. He said, if you're in your head, you're dead, right? So if you're constantly thinking about what it is that you're going to do to get to where you want to go, and you're planning and planning and planning. No, hold on a second. Proverbs 13:20 says, walk with the wise and you will be wise. Walk with the fools and you'll be a fool. It's very similar to that. So think about this for a minute, right? It's like you want to be wise and set yourself up for success. But you don't need to have every single thing planned as you go, because there's only things that you're going to learn by actually doing that you wouldn't have learned by being in your head. So action brings clarity. So think about that, right? My ABCs. Anytime you think about anything in life, think action brings clarity. That's it. And this is the perfect analogy that's going to help you see this. And then we'll get out of here. Think about a bird for a minute, right? Man, this is so good. This is so good. Think about a bird, right? Think about, we were just talking about being in the ground, right? Also like this video. Like this video. I want to see if anybody's even watching with me here. Let's go. Think about this, right? When you're in the ground doing the work and becoming the person, nobody's clapping. But this message, I want y'all to learn, it's going to be like one of those churches where they come up with the message, they put it on the screen. We'll just call this one, keep flapping. That's what we'll call this message. It's not a sermon, but it's just, I feel like one of those moments where like, man, here's the message, this just came to me. So we're going to call this keep flapping, even when no one's clapping. Come on, y'all. Even when no one's clapping. We won't even put the G on there. We'll just call it keep flapping. Keep flapping even when no one's clapping. Watch. So you have a mama bird, right? That's what this is. This is a blue jay. This is a blue jay. And the blue jay is pushing her little birds out, right? Now, do you think that bird that's never flown before is going to feel very comfortable falling out of that nest? It doesn't even look like a nest. It looks like a stick. Let's give him a little more respect on this. Let's give him more respect on this here. So we got a little nest, right? So the little bird is about to get pushed out of the net. What's about to happen? We're going to find out if they keep flapping. Come on now. Hey, what's about to happen? Here's this lesson, I swear, for any entrepreneur that's going to hear this. You may be new to this channel. You never seen me before. But, subscribe to the channel, like, comment on this thing. I think this is so good. It just came to me. They're going to push the little bird out. It's kind of like us as entrepreneurs. This is the epitome of action brings clarity. Now, let's say the little bird gets pushed out of the nest, right? We're going to gets pushed out of the nest. It's going down. It's going down, right? Like it's going down. What's going to happen to this bird? It's going down. I don't know if you can see it. It's really small, but it's going down. Here, I'll zoom in a little bit. It's going down. This bird is going down. That's like us with entrepreneurship. It's like when we do something for the first time, we have to push ourselves to take action, because no action, nothing happens, right? Like I always like to say, we're either building up our bookshelf or we're building up our business. We're either focusing on personal development or it's shelf development. It's self-development or shelf development, right? Let's focus on self-development, not shelf development. I got enough books, right? Can I get an amen? But all right, so going back to this, right? So the bird is going down. But what's crazy is the bird's never flown before. So as the bird's never flown before, it's pretty scary because I'm sure it could see the ground coming, right? Let's give it some grass here. We could see that the ground is coming. But that's us with entrepreneurship. So as we keep going down, it seems like this bird's going to hit the ground. And it probably will if we don't stop doing what I mentioned we need to keep doing, which is keep going, keep having trust in God, keep flapping. Because right at this point, right here, all of a sudden something magic happens. Right at this point, something magic happens. You start to see a little curve. You see a little curve. And what is this called right here? You know what? We're going to call this the learning curve. Come on, y'all. There's something we still have to learn, but we only learn it by taking action. This learning curve can only be learned by taking action. But when we keep flapping, when nobody's clapping, that's when things start to happen. Rockets in the chat, y'all. When we keep flapping, when nobody's clapping, that's when something starts to happen. I want y'all to see this, man. This is entrepreneurship right here. This is entrepreneurship right here. But if you stop flapping, if you stop doing the work, nothing's going to happen. And you know what's crazy? I saw something. Chris Williamson and Alex Hormozi talked about this on a YouTube video a while back, and it really shook my whole soul. They said that, you know, all the people that are asking you, how's that little business going? Let me come over here. Let me come over here. You know, all the people that are asking you, how's that little business going? How's entrepreneurship treating you? You going to go back to work? You know, what's going on with you right now? You know, you getting a lot of clients. Oh, it doesn't look like your money's going well. You know, money's still kind of tight. You're going through it. No, I'm right here. I'm right at the learning curve. This is where I'm at. I'm at the learning curve. I'm at the learning curve right here. Right here. Right here. This is where I'm at. There's something that I have to learn. And most people come at us and they're like, oh, you're losing. You're losing. No, I'm learning. I'm learning. You know, the first video I ever made on this channel, we talked about you don't win or lose, you win or learn. And the more that you learn, the more that you earn. So if you're at the learning curve, you're about to be at the earning curve. But the problem is that we listen to what everybody else is talking about because they're not clapping. So we stop flapping. So if this little birdie, which is you as an entrepreneur, continues to keep flapping, hey, that's when things are going to happen, even when people are not clapping. So whatever that you're going through is eventually going to be everything that you got through because God has got you. Oh, let me say that again. Everything that you're going through is going to be everything that you got through because God's got you. God is at that learning curve. You know, I hit rock bottom 3 times in my life. And I didn't realize until the 3rd time that God was the rock at the bottom. Because the first time I hit rock bottom, I still tried to go ahead and get out of my situation as fast as I could. And I did. But then what happened? I ended up going back to the same place, hitting rock bottom again. Because it wasn't about where I wanted to go. I learned that sometimes we have to slow down so we can speed up. And that God had to slow me down. And I had to hit another rock bottom in order for me to finally realize that, well, it wasn't even until the 3rd time that I realized. Because all I did was look at where everybody was and what they were doing instead of what they actually went through to get where they got. And I know now that for somebody watching this right now, they may feel like they're not making any progress in life. Or they may only have 1 or 2 customers and 1 or 2 clients. Or maybe they have just a couple of things that God's given them. But in the Bible, it says the man that is faithful with little will be faithful with much. Stop reading the Bible and then believing the opposite. I mean, that's the best advice that I could give anybody. And I'm not saying I'm a preacher, and I'm not going to use biblical principles to try to persuade you to buy anything from me. But what I am going to do is I'm going to tell you this, that in that book is the word of God. And I've been studying the book of John lately, and it said that the word is God. So if the word is God, then you know it's the truth. So stop reading the Bible and believing the opposite. Because if God brought you to it, God will get you through it. And everything that you're going through will be everything that you got through because he's got you. So keep flapping. It's about to happen. You are responsible for the grinding. God is responsible for the timing. And when you really believe that and understand that where you are is not who you are and what you're doing is only a phase of who you're becoming, man, things are going to get great. I think that's everything I have for today. But just remember, if there's anything that you remember from this video, is that keep flapping when nobody's clapping. And God's going to trust you enough to allow it to happen. I pray that this video blessed you today. I pray that you got some value from it. If you did, put some rockets in the chat. After this video is published, please go ahead and leave some comments on what you did take away from it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, man, I'd be super grateful and honored that, you know, there was enough value on this video that would allow you to, you know, maybe want to rock with us next Wednesday. This is the perspective pause. You know, we have to take a minute and pause and have some self-reflection because momentum means nothing if you're going in the wrong direction. And a lot of us may be going in the wrong direction or quitting too soon. And it may feel hard right now. It may feel difficult right now. And you may feel really uncertain right now. But just know something. This is the point where most people quit. But you're not most people. You're going to keep going. You're going to have faith in God, and you're going to get around other people that do the same thing. Before you go to bed today, do me and you and everybody around you a favor. Write down 1 to 3 wins for your day. Write down something amazing that happened in your day today, because while you're going through this process, it's not always going to feel like you're winning. It's going to feel like you're losing. As you're going through this process, there's a lot of times that you're going to feel like you are losing, like you're going to hit the ground, and you don't even know what this learning curve is. But you took action because you knew your ABCs. You knew that action brings clarity. You knew that this would be a situation where you had to lean on faith. You had to walk by faith, not by sight. And by knowing that, sometimes it's really difficult to see how we're winning when we feel like we're losing. So tonight, take out a piece of paper, take a journal, take something, and write down your wins for the day. That way, when you wake up tomorrow morning and you start thinking about all the things that are happening in your life, you can remember that you still won the day. I pray that y'all have a phenomenal day, man. I'm just super excited because I believe that I'm in this stage right here, y'all. I'm in this gravitropic stage with y'all, becoming the person that I need to become. Being on this YouTube channel, I'm practicing in public. Again, I've had a lot of negative feedback based on the things that I'm saying from people that I believe have a fixed mindset and not a growth mindset. So I'm gonna keep going because I'm doing this for the people that are here right now. I see a handful of people right here right now, and I'm just super grateful that you're even giving me the opportunity to be here with you on a Wednesday morning at 11 a.m. So I'll see y'all next week. And yeah, keep going. God knows exactly what he's doing. Just trust him. So until next week, y'all. Again, comment in the chat. Any takeaways? Anything that you have there? Let me get off of here. And I apologize for the any of the start of the video did not come out right. The intro did not come out right today. We had a lot of technical difficulties today, and I almost thought about starting a new stream. But what's really interesting is that if God put it on your heart, then God's going to play a part. But you got to start. Keep trusting God and keep taking action. I'll see y'all next week. God bless y'all. Peace.